beautiful bullshit. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, June the 1st. And as the year flies by with lousy trading action and lousy markets altogether, we've had a big story of the big beautiful bill, which again, in my eyes, is big beautiful bullshit. I think that, again, when you look at the overall scope of where we are, the amount of debt that this will create is ridiculous, and at some point it's got to stop. And when Elizabeth Warren agrees with you on eliminating the debt ceiling, not only raising it but eliminating it, you know that there's a problem. And what I don't understand is how we can continue to okay and allow spending of money we don't have, to continue to put the American people deeper in debt, raising inflation that will create more poor people and more homeless people because people can't afford to live under the current rise of inflation, let alone where we're headed to, because inflation is not coming down. Okay. Now, again, I'm thrilled with the president in general, but I think this big beautiful bill, and I think his attacks on the Fed, which we'll talk about in our commentary, are unfounded and incorrect and not good for this country. Okay, but again, we'll see how it all plays out. But I am not thrilled with that part of it. I am thrilled that the Supreme Court is letting Trump strip 500,000 migrants of their legal status. Again, I am a big fan of deportation. I'm a big fan of cleaning up this country. So that part I'm thrilled with, and I hope to continue. Tariffs continue to bring in money into this country. Now, again, I believe in the month of May, 23 billion. But basically, when you're talking about trillions, 23 billion is a drop in the bucket. And again, if you don't understand the difference, a million seconds is 11 days. A billion seconds is 33 years. So a trillion seconds is generations. Okay, 33,000 years. So just think about that. Do the equation, and you'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm also thrilled that the sanctuary cities are going to get sanctioned and not sanctioned, but lose federal funding, which I'm all for as well. I don't understand how we can have sanctuary cities. There's either a law or there's not a law. Okay. Illegals are not supposed to be here illegally. So the law is, so why should sanctuary cities that are funding illegals be given federal funds? Okay. Again, that to me makes no sense. Okay. So yes, deport, get rid of, no funding to the sanctuary cities. And I happen to be in agreement with the Harvard debate of cutting their funding as well. I mean, these universities make so much money and have so much benefits. I mean, Northwestern, which is where I'm from, Chicago, Northwestern University, the universities don't pay taxes, okay, on their land. They don't pay taxes on anything. And of course, Northwestern has the most prime land, charges a ridiculous tuition. Why should any of these systems be funded or be subsidized by the government? Why should the taxpayer subsidize these? I mean, an average person can't even afford to go to college anymore. I mean, it's really a joke. And of course, where we've gone and what we've watched with the anti-Semitism and the things that they allow to happen make no sense to me as well. I mean, it's a fucking mess. Okay. I think that, look, this despite what they'll call the tarifflation and the fear mongering, the Fed's in their favorite inflation indicator tumbles to a 4-year low. So again, think about it. Okay, now again, I think that the drop in drop in oil prices is what's doing the trick, and I think that it will continue to do so. And I think we're going lower there. But again, inflation is inflation. and the interest rates are rising. We saw the 30-year bonds over 5%. So again, there's a lot of things that aren't good. But of course, the Fed is a bunch of morons, which again, that'll be part of our commentary. Corporate profits suffer the largest drop since the fourth quarter of 2020. Well, if you've watched the market and you've watched what's going on and you see the lack of participation in the stock market, that tells you that the average, the middle class is having troubles. Okay. I personally believe many are not using their 401ks, which is an absolute mistake. If you have pulled out of your 401k, no matter how short you are of money, you are making a dramatic mistake because you're giving away free money. But that's something we'll have for another day. Okay. Uh, the Democratic Party. Now, look, I'm a libertarian. I used to I could vote either side. I have voted on either side. Okay. But this is not the Democratic Party that I remember. All they want to do is fight and battle. And of course, now they're talking about the impeachments that they want to go after again, if and when they return to power. Okay. Again, I think it's stupid. This is just stupid. What's going on in this country on the political front. And it tells us that we need to revamp our political system and get the criminals out. I always compare this country to the Blacklist, if you ever watched it, okay, with the cabal and the deep state and all things that go on behind the scenes. And I think it's been proved, okay, by that Biden was unaware of half the things that his auto pen signed. Okay. So who was running it? Who was making those decisions? I think that is terrible when you think about it. And I think it's also stupid of Hawaii to be the first state to charge for a carbon footprint. Okay. For their visitors and guests. I mean, don't these hotels, don't these cities and states, don't they fuck us enough that they want to take more? Okay. There's only so much that they can take. And to me, it makes no sense. Okay. But at the end of the day, I think that we have to convince our senators, our congresspeople to stop spending. Okay. I think we have to come back into a reasonable budget. Okay. And quit giving away all this money for nothing. And it should start at the top. If you're not aware, the Congress and the senators have taken many raises, including during COVID, when nobody could eat. Don't you think that if you're an elected official, they already have enough things that they steal? Okay. They already have enough advantages of the campaigns, the funds that they have in their campaign coffers. Okay. And they want us, the American people, to pay them more. They have their own healthcare system, so they don't have to go through Obamacare. So why is it that they get raises? Why is it that we're not more concerned on cutting our spending and giving money away to everybody instead of taking care of what we need to take care of here, which is the debt? Makes no sense. Absolutely bullshit. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, June the 1st. We're going to stop out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market report right after the break, Sunday, June the 21st. I'm June the 1st. What's up, kids? As you know, we've got some sponsors for the show. And just a reminder, they're mostly brokerage partners. I have other brokers, full disclosure. I'm not telling you need to go to these brokers. I'm telling you that you should check them out. I think you'll save money. In fact, TRADIER Brokerage saves me $100,000 a year in commissions. Okay. And of course, they're wonderful, $10 a month flat. Capital Trading Group, who's a partner on many of our products, does all of our letter of direction trading. They're great people. They do a good job. And after all, if you have a problem, you want to be able to talk to somebody. And other brokers, if you've had a problem, they don't talk to you. They don't get on the phone. You got to go through a big process. In the meantime, Capital Trading Group, ITM Trading for all your gold and silver needs. That's where I buy all my gold. That's from my friend, True Daniela Cambone, she's their reporter there. You've seen me do interviews with her, but again, great organization. Of course, SpookyExpress.com if you'd like to do a little wagering. Our high school program, and of course, our brand new sponsor and partner, and we're invested in Joya Mom, which is a great platform for moms, and we're really excited about it. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and do our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, June the 1st. And of course, markets had a little bit of an up week last week. Nothing exciting. It was really pretty dull. I would be, a little bit, I'm certainly not thrilled with the overall action that we were watching. But basically, the markets are just in consolidation. I believe they're going lower. I think they peaked on Thursday. And of course, they tried to take him down on Friday. They had him down hard, and then they came back and came pretty much back to the flat line-ish. But I think that they are headed much lower. I think that there's going to be some selling coming in here. But for now, we're in consolidation, so I'm not going to tell you to stock and get short. I would be looking to sell rallies myself, which I am. And of course, we do a lot of spreading as well. But the four major indices are stuck in consolidation. We have no positions right now. We're flat, but they're all solidly stuck in the middle. But certainly a big rally or a rally followed by a sell-off which would get us short. The dollar, which we do not trade, but if we did trade it, we would be long. The euro currency, we are still short. Bonds and notes, we are short bonds. Excuse me, we are short notes and long bonds. But I think that I'd like to be short on both still, but again, that doesn't fit the profile. But I think interest rates are going much higher as we're witnessing. Bitcoin, we are short, and Bitcoin did reach a new high, and of course has come off a little bit, but we are short Bitcoin. We are short, we are flat gold, silver, and platinum. All had a lower week. Again, I expect them to come down a little bit further. But again, I listen from a long-term perspective, I'm a big fan. Copper, we're still long. Corn, we're still long. The grains look weak, but I think the grains are all pretty much in consolidation. And I think that when you look at the picture, okay, I think they're going to break out. Now, they could break to the downside. There is no doubt about it. But I do think they're going to break out big and huge to the upside. And certainly, I think the risk reward model here, I don't think there's been this big of a divergence between risk and reward in a long time in this product. So me, if I were going to trade them, I mean, we're long corn, but if I were going to get involved in grains in general, I'd be a buyer. Cattle, I'm a seller. I haven't sold them yet, but I'm looking for another place to enter. Hogs, I'm looking for a spot to sell. Natural gas, we're flat. And crude oil, we are long. At the end of the day, we got to see the action. We have a market that lacks liquidity. We have a market that lacks action. Okay, and that's partially due to low volume, high volatility equals no liquidity. So just be careful. I mean, again, I'm not telling you to run out and get crazy, especially we're going into the summer. So just be careful. And this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. It is Sunday, June the 1st. We're going to step out here a break and come back with, of course, our commentary. Well, kids, again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but here's our sponsors: Capital Trading Group, TRADIER Brokerage, ITM Trading, SpookyExpress.com, our high school program, and Joy of Mom, and they're all posted on the bottom or on the side. You can check them out. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and our weekly commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, June the 1st, and of course, as we opened up with the Fed and their indicators, let's face it, the Fed is nothing more than a part of the cabal. Okay. And if the Supreme Court has to help, the Fed, okay, and then that tells you that they're really not that much of a private organization. Okay. And, they're supposed to be private, but you have President Trump and the presidents in the past trying to tell them how to run their business. Now, they don't know how to run their business. And certainly, the fact of the matter is that if the government and the Federal Reserve would let the free markets dictate, then we would know where interest rates should be. They should be higher. Okay? Much to your chagrin, they should be higher because the market would warrant higher. But we can have morons, that is the Federal Reserve, using models that are 112 years old. Okay, they have not changed, the Federal Reserve. They use the same stupid dot plot and Phillips curve and all the other bullshit that they run by, and they're basically morons. Yes, they're highly educated and they're very smart people when it comes to a book, but there's a thing in this life called common sense. They don't have it. Okay, Free markets work the best because they give you true price discovery. Nobody should be adjusting or trying to fix what interest rates are. Interest rates, like any other product, will price itself given the free market. If people want to demand a lot of money, interest rates are going to go higher. If there's no demand for money, interest rates will go lower. It's that simple. It's like any other product. And the fact that we had the Supreme Court getting involved with the Federal Reserve and having anonymity and being separated from the government. Well, they're supposed to be a private corporation, so it's a total crock of shit. The Fed needs to be ended or at least audited because their job is worthless. We were sold a bill of goods to the American people by the four criminals: Paul Warburg, the Rothschild family, Rockefellers, and more J.P. Morgan, and that's it. The Fed needs to be done, but of course, it's not going to happen. But we at least have to understand that they have to let the free market system work. And that's my saying for today. This is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, June the 1st. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update.